Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The warm morning sun shone into the kitchen. Shadows moved on the wooden table. Eileen watched her sibling sitting across from her. She saw that he looked tired and held his mug tightly. Dylan wore an old gray hoodie that he still liked best. "How long has it been since you talked?" Eileen asked. She stopped her cup close to her mouth. Steam rose into the air. "Don't avoid the question. I want to know." Dylan stopped moving. His face showed he was trying not to cry. "I have felt wrong for a long time." Eileen leaned closer. Her face looked kinder. "Wrong how?" "Wrong in my body. Wrong when people call me he. Wrong when I see myself in the mirror." Dylan's eyes filled with tears. I know I am supposed to be a girl." The kitchen was quiet except for the sound of the clock. Eileen reached out and held her sibling's hand. "How long have you felt this way?" "Since I was little. Remember when I used to sneak into your room and try on your dresses?" A sad smile crossed Dylan's face. "You caught me once in your purple sundress. I was terrified you'd tell Mom and Dad." "I remember. You looked so happy until you saw me in the doorway." "I was happy. For those few minutes, I felt right. Like I was finally who I was supposed to be." Eileen squeezed the hand she was holding. "Have you thought about what you want to do? What name feels right?" "Dara." The response came immediately. "I've always loved that name, and I want to start living as myself, but I'm scared. What if Mom and Dad hate me? What if everyone thinks I'm a freak?" "First of all, you're not a freak. You're my sibling, and I love you no matter what. Second, Mom and Dad might need time, but they love you too. We'll figure this out together." Dara's tears flowed freely now. "You really mean that?" "Of course I do. Tomorrow, we'll start looking for a therapist who specializes in gender identity, someone who can help you navigate this. And maybe we can go shopping this weekend? Get you some clothes that make you feel like yourself?" "You'd do that with me?" "I've been waiting years for a sister to go shopping with." Eileen grinned. "Though fair warning, I have terrible fashion sense." For the first time in months, Dara laughed. A genuine, bright sound that filled the kitchen. The following week, Eileen drove Dara to her first appointment with Dr. Martinez, a psychiatrist who specialized in gender dysphoria. The waiting room had soft green walls and comfortable chairs. Dara fidgeted with the hem of her gray hoodie, still presenting as male in public. "Dara?" A woman with kind eyes and silver-streaked hair appeared in the doorway. "I'm Dr. Martinez. Please come in." The office was warm and inviting, with bookshelves lining the walls and 2 leather chairs facing each other. Dara settled into one, pulling her knees up to her chest. "Tell me what brings you here today." "I'm transgender." The words tumbled out quickly, as if Dara feared losing her nerve. "I've known for years, but I only just told my sister last week. I want to transition, but I don't know where to start." Dr. Martinez nodded, making notes on her pad. "First, I want to say how brave you are for taking this step. Can you tell me more about your experiences with gender dysphoria?" They talked for an hour, Dara explaining the constant discomfort, the dreams where she woke up in the right body only to face crushing disappointment, the way she avoided mirrors and photos. Dr. Martinez listened without judgment, occasionally asking clarifying questions. "Based on what you've shared, I believe you're experiencing genuine gender dysphoria. I'd like to see you weekly as we work through this together. We'll also discuss medical options, hormone therapy for instance, when you're ready." "How long before I can start hormones?" "That depends on several factors. We'll need to ensure you're psychologically prepared for the changes, that you have a support system in place, and that you understand all the effects. Typically, I recommend at least 3 months of therapy before we move forward with medical intervention." 3 months felt like an eternity, but Dara nodded. "What about living as myself? When can I do that?" "You can start whenever you feel safe and comfortable. Some people begin at home, others wait until they're on hormones. There's no right or wrong timeline, only what feels right for you." After the appointment, Eileen was waiting in the car, her blue sweater bright against the beige interior. "How did it go?" "Good, really good. She wants to see me every week, and she said I can start presenting as female whenever I want. Dara paused. I think I want to start at home first. Maybe go out as myself on weekends. That sounds like a perfect plan. This weekend, shopping trip. Yes, please. That Saturday, they drove to a mall 2 towns over, where they were less likely to run into anyone they knew. Dara wore her usual gray hoodie and jeans, but excitement radiated from her. Where should we start? Eileen asked as they stood at the mall entrance. I don't know. I've never done this before. Dara's voice was small. How about we start with basics? Some everyday clothes, then maybe a dress or two. They wandered into a department store, Dara's eyes wide as she took in the women's section. She gravitated toward a rack of blouses, running her fingers over the fabrics. This is pretty. She held up a soft pink top. Try it on. Actually, grab a few things and we'll hit the dressing room. Dara selected several items: the pink blouse, a navy skirt, a pair of jeans clearly designed for women, and a simple black dress. In the dressing room, she emerged wearing the pink blouse and navy skirt. Her brown hair still short, but her face transformed with joy. You look beautiful. Eileen meant it. Despite the masculine haircut, happiness made Dara glow. I feel beautiful. For the first time in my life. They spent hours shopping, building a basic wardrobe. Blouses in various colors, skirts and dresses, a few pairs of women's jeans, and even some jewelry. At a shoe store, Dara tried on pair after pair, delighting in strappy sandals and ankle boots. We should probably get you some practical shoes, too. Eileen held up a pair of simple flats. Can we get these? Dara was holding purple heels. I know they're not practical, but of course we can. Every girl needs at least one pair of impractical shoes. Their last stop was a wig shop. Dara tried on several styles, but nothing felt quite right. What if I just grow my hair out? She studied her reflection, pulling at her short brown strands. It would take longer, but it would be mine. That's a great idea. We can get you some hair accessories for when it's in that awkward growing out stage. Back home, Dara immediately changed into her new clothes. A simple green blouse and black skirt. She stood in front of Eileen's full-length mirror, turning this way and that. I need to tell Mom and Dad soon. The joy on her face dimmed slightly. Do you want me there when you do? Please, I don't think I can do it alone. Then we'll do it together. Maybe tomorrow at dinner? Dara nodded, still staring at her reflection. Tomorrow. The next evening, their parents sat across from them at the dining room table. Their mother wore her favorite yellow cardigan, their father in his usual white button-down from work. Dara had changed back into boy clothes for this conversation, not ready to shock them with a visual transformation along with the news. Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something important. Dara's voice shook. Their mother set down her fork. What is it, honey? I'm transgender. I'm a girl. I've always been a girl, I was born in the wrong body. The silence stretched out, feeling like hours, though it was probably only seconds. Their father cleared his throat. How long have you known? His voice was carefully neutral. Since I was little, but I only just started accepting it. I've been seeing a therapist, and Eileen's been helping me. Their mother's eyes filled with tears. Oh, sweetheart, this must have been so hard for you to carry alone. You're not angry? Angry? No, confused maybe. Worried about what this means for your future. But angry? Never. Their father reached across the table. You're our child. That doesn't change. I'm going by Dara now, and I want to start living as a girl full-time eventually. Right now, just at home and on weekends. Dara. Their mother tested the name. That's beautiful. How can we help? Just treat me like your daughter, use she and her, and maybe give me time to figure things out? Of course. Their father's voice was thick with emotion. Whatever you need. The relief on Dara's face was palpable. Can I go change? I have some new clothes. Go ahead, sweetheart. Dara returned wearing her green blouse and black skirt, standing nervously in the doorway. Their mother stood and crossed to her, pulling her into a tight hug. My beautiful daughter, she whispered. I love you so much. Their father joined the embrace, and Eileen watched from the table, wiping tears from her eyes. The next few months fell into a routine. Dara attended weekly therapy sessions with Dr. Martinez, lived as herself at home and on weekends, but continued presenting as male at work. Her brown hair grew slowly, reaching her chin by the 3-month mark. "I think I'm ready to discuss hormones," Dara announced at her appointment, wearing a red sweater and jeans. Dr. Martinez smiled. "I think you are too. You've shown consistent gender dysphoria, you have a strong support system, and you understand the permanent changes that will occur. I'll write you a referral to an endocrinologist." 2 weeks later, Dara sat in another doctor's office, this time wearing her purple dress, the same style as the one she'd tried on in Eileen's room so many years ago. Dr. Thompson, the endocrinologist, explained the effects of estrogen and testosterone blockers in detail. Breast development, fat redistribution, softer skin, reduced body hair, changes in mood and sexuality. These are all typical. Some changes are reversible if you stop taking hormones. Others are permanent. Do you have any questions? When will I start seeing changes? Everyone's different, but typically you'll notice mood changes and skin softening within the first month. Breast development usually begins around month 2 or 3. More significant changes take 6 months to a year. And my voice? Unfortunately, estrogen doesn't change your voice. Many trans women work with speech therapists or practice on their own to develop a more feminine voice. Dara nodded, absorbing the information. "I understand. I want to move forward." "Then let's get you started. I'll prescribe a standard beginning dose, and we'll monitor your levels with blood work every 3 months. Dara left the appointment, clutching her prescription like a lifeline. Eileen was waiting in the car, now wearing a red jacket over her white shirt. "Got it? Got it? Can we stop at the pharmacy on the way home?" "Of course." That night, Dara took her first dose of hormones. It was just a small pill, but it represented everything she'd been working toward. She stared at herself in the mirror, her brown hair now touching her shoulders, wearing her favorite pink pajamas. "This is really happening," she whispered to her reflection. The changes came slowly at first. Dara's skin grew softer, her emotions more accessible. She cried at commercials and laughed more freely. At the 2-month mark, she noticed the beginning of breast buds, small, tender lumps that made her giddy with excitement despite the discomfort. "I need to get some bras," she told Eileen one evening, wearing her comfortable gray sweater. "These are getting noticeable." "Another shopping trip it is? How are you feeling about work? Still presenting male there?" "For now, but it's getting harder. My face is changing, and hiding my chest is uncomfortable. I think I need to talk to HR soon." "I'll go with you if you want." "Thanks, but I think I need to do this myself. Maybe next month?" As it turned out, she didn't have to wait that long. The following week, a coworker cornered her in the break room. "What's going on with you?" Marcus asked bluntly. "You look different." Dara's heart pounded. She was wearing her usual male work clothes, but apparently they weren't hiding the changes as well as she'd hoped. "I'm transitioning." The words came out before she could stop them. "I'm transgender." Marcus blinked, processing this information. "Oh, okay. So should I call you something different?" "Dara, and she, her pronouns, please." "Cool. Dara it is." He grabbed his coffee and headed for the door, then paused. "You know, my cousin transitioned a few years ago. If you ever want to talk to someone who's been through it..." "That would be great, actually." Word spread quickly through the office. By lunch, HR had called her in for a meeting. The director, a woman in a crisp gray suit, listened as Dara explained her situation. "I've been transitioning medically for 3 months. I live as female outside of work, and I'd like to start presenting as myself here too. Of course, we have policies in place to support transgender employees. When would you like to make the switch?" "Monday?" Dara suggested. "That gives people the weekend to process." "Perfect. I'll send out an email Friday afternoon. Is there anything else you need? Access to the women's restroom? A new name badge?" "Both of those would be great." That Friday, Dara cleaned out her desk, packing away the last remnants of her male presentation. Monday morning, she arrived early, wearing a professional blue blazer and black skirt, her brown hair styled in a simple but feminine cut that had finally grown long enough to shape properly. You look amazing. Jessie from accounting stopped by her desk with coffee. I love that blazer. Thanks, I was nervous about overdressing. Not at all. Hey, a bunch of us are going to lunch later. Want to join? I'd love to. The day went smoother than expected. There were curious looks and a few awkward moments, but overall her coworkers adapted quickly. At lunch, she found herself laughing with a group of women who welcomed her warmly. So how long have you known? Jessie asked, genuinely curious rather than prying. Always, really, but it took me until this year to do something about it. That must have been hard, keeping it inside for so long. It was, but I'm grateful to be living authentically now. As months passed, Dara blossomed. Her body continued changing. Her face softened, her curves developed, her brown hair grew past her shoulders. She experimented with makeup and fashion, finding her own style that leaned toward classic and feminine. She favored dresses and skirts, but wasn't afraid of a sharp pantsuit for important meetings. One evening, about 8 months into her transition, she attended a support group meeting that Dr. Martinez had recommended. The community center room was filled with people at various stages of transition. Dara wore her favorite purple dress. The color had become something of a signature for her. Welcome, everyone. The facilitator, an older trans woman named Grace, smiled warmly. We have some new faces tonight. Would anyone like to introduce themselves? Dara raised her hand tentatively. I'm Dara. I've been transitioning for about 8 months, still figuring things out. Welcome, Dara. You'll find we're all still figuring things out, no matter how long we've been on this journey. After the meeting, Dara was approached by a woman with short black hair wearing a green flannel shirt. Hey, I'm Jessie. Different Jessie than your coworker. She grinned. I remember being 8 months in. Everything feels simultaneously too fast and too slow, right? Exactly. I'm thrilled with my progress, but impatient for more. Want to grab coffee? I'd love to chat more. They walked to a nearby cafe, finding a quiet corner table. Jessie had transitioned 3 years earlier and shared stories of her own journey. The second year is interesting. Jessie stirred her latte. The major changes slow down, and you start just living as yourself. It becomes normal. I can't wait for normal. Dara sipped her cappuccino. Right now, everything still feels new and scary and wonderful. Enjoy it. This time of discovery is special, even with all the challenges. They talked for hours, covering everything from hormone experiences to family reactions to dating while trans. When they finally noticed the time, the cafe was nearly empty. This was really nice. Dara pulled on her black coat. Could we do it again sometime? I'd like that. Maybe dinner next week? Are you asking me on a date? Dara's eyes widened. Would that be okay? More than okay. Yes, I'd love to. Their first official date was at a small Italian restaurant. Dara spent hours getting ready, finally settling on a navy dress with small white flowers. Her brown hair was curled softly, and she'd mastered a natural makeup look after months of practice. Jessie was already waiting, wearing dark jeans and a burgundy blouse. Her face lit up when she saw Dara. You look beautiful. So do you. Conversation flowed as easily as it had at the coffee shop. They discovered shared interests in hiking, science fiction novels, and terrible reality TV. Jessie worked as a graphic designer, Dara in marketing, and they bonded over creative project challenges. I have to admit something, Jessie said over dessert. I've had a crush on you since that first support group meeting. You walked in wearing that purple dress, looking nervous but determined, and I couldn't take my eyes off you. Dara blushed. I noticed you too. You were the only person who looked genuinely happy to be there. I am happy. It took a long time to get here, but I love my life now. Being myself, living authentically, it's worth every struggle. I'm beginning to understand that, especially right now. They began dating regularly. Jessie introduced Dara to her friends, a diverse group who welcomed her warmly. Dara brought Jessie home to meet her family, and her parents immediately adored the confident, kind woman who made their daughter smile so brightly. She's wonderful, her mother said, wearing her yellow cardigan as they washed dishes together. I haven't seen you this happy, ever, actually. I didn't know I could be this happy. Everything feels right for the first time in my life. Then hold on to her, and hold on to this feeling. You deserve every bit of joy. A year into dating, Jessie and Dara moved in together, finding a small apartment downtown. They painted the walls warm colors and filled the space with plants and bookshelves. Dara had been on hormones for nearly 2 years now, and her transition had stabilized into simply living her life. "I've been thinking about surgery," she mentioned one evening, curled on the couch in gray sweatpants and Jessie's old college hoodie. Jessie looked up from her sketching. "Bottom surgery?" "Yeah, I'm ready. The dysphoria there hasn't gone away like I hoped it would." "Have you talked to Dr. Martinez about it?" "Not yet. I wanted to discuss it with you first. It's a major surgery, long recovery time. It would affect both of us." Jessie set aside her sketch pad and took Dara's hands. "If it's what you need to feel complete, then I support you completely. We'll figure out the logistics together." "You're amazing, you know that?" "So are you." The surgery consultation process took several months. Letters from therapists, meetings with surgeons, insurance battles. Jessie attended every appointment, taking notes and asking questions when Dara felt overwhelmed. Finally, a date was set. "Next spring," Dara announced at family dinner, wearing a simple black dress. "April 15th. "We'll be there," her father said immediately. "Whatever you need." "The recovery is about 6 weeks before I can go back to work, maybe 3 months before everything's fully healed. I'm taking time off to help," Jessie added, "and Eileen already volunteered for backup support." "We're all here for you," Eileen confirmed, her red sweater bright in the dining room light. "Team Dara all the way." The months leading to surgery passed in a blur of preparation. Dara and Jessie rearranged their apartment for easier navigation during recovery, stocked up on supplies, and created detailed care schedules. The night before surgery, they lay in bed holding each other. "You scared?" Jessie whispered in the dark. "Terrified, but also ready. I've been waiting my whole life to feel complete in my body." "You're the bravest person I know." "I don't feel brave, I just feel like I'm finally becoming who I was meant to be." The surgery went smoothly. Dara woke up groggy but euphoric, Jessie's face the first thing she saw. "Hey there, beautiful. How are you feeling?" "Like I've been hit by a truck, but a very affirming truck." Recovery was challenging, pain, frustration, and moments of doubt, but Jessie remained steady, helping with everything from medication schedules to emotional breakdowns. Eileen visited daily, bringing magazines and gossip from work. Her parents checked in constantly, her mother dropping off homemade soup in her favorite yellow cardigan. This too shall pass. Grace from the support group visited, bringing flowers. "I remember my recovery. Hardest thing I've ever done, but so worth it." 6 weeks later, Dara returned to work, still moving carefully, but glowing with a new confidence. Her co-workers welcomed her back warmly, and life slowly returned to normal. A new, better normal, where her body finally matched her identity. "I've been thinking," Jessie said one evening as they cooked dinner together. Dara was wearing jeans and a green t-shirt, finally able to wear fitted clothes comfortably again. "Always dangerous," Dara teased, chopping vegetables. "I'm serious. We've been together 2.5 years. We've been through so much together. I love you more than I ever thought possible." Dara set down the knife, turning to face her girlfriend. "Where is this going?" Jessie dropped to one knee, pulling out a small velvet box. "Dara, will you marry me?" "Oh my God!" Dara's hands flew to her mouth. Yes, of course, yes!" The ring was simple and elegant, a silver band with a small sapphire. It fit perfectly, as if it had always belonged there. Wedding planning began immediately. They decided on a December wedding, wanting the warmth of the season to surround their celebration. Dara's mother threw herself into helping, arriving at planning sessions in various bright cardigans with binders full of ideas. "What about the church on 5th Street?" she suggested, wearing pink today. "It's beautiful, and they're affirming." "That could work." Dara looked at Jessie. "What do you think?" "I love it. Small, intimate, perfect for a winter wedding." They chose December 24th, wanting to begin their married life with the magic of Christmas Eve. Invitations went out to family and close friends, a small gathering of people who had supported them through everything. Dress shopping proved emotional. Dara stood on the platform in a flowing white gown, her brown hair pinned up elegantly, and saw herself as the bride she'd dreamed of being since childhood. "That's the one," Eileen said through tears, wearing her lucky blue dress. "You look like a princess." "I feel like one." The morning of the wedding dawned cold and clear. Dara woke early in her childhood bedroom, having spent the night apart from Jessie for tradition. Her white dress hung on the closet door, shoes lined up beneath. "Ready for this?" Her mother appeared with coffee, wearing a festive red dress. "I've never been more ready for anything in my life." The preparation was a flurry of hair, makeup, and happy tears. Eileen helped her into the dress, fastening each button carefully. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "My beautiful sister." "Don't make me cry, I just got my makeup done." The church looked magical, decorated with white flowers and twinkling lights. Guests filled the pews, family, friends from work, people from the support group who had become chosen family. At the altar, Jessie waited in a perfectly tailored black suit, her face radiant with joy. Dara's father walked her down the aisle, his eyes misty. "I love you, daughter," he whispered before placing her hand in Jessie's. The ceremony was simple and heartfelt. They had written their own vows, each speaking of the journey that brought them together and the future they would build. "Dara," Jessie's voice was strong and clear, "you came into my life like a miracle I didn't know I was waiting for. Your courage in becoming yourself inspired me to be braver in my own life. I promise to love you, support you, and stand by you through whatever comes. You are my heart, my home, my everything." "Jessie," Dara's voice wavered with emotion, "you saw me when I was still learning to see myself. You loved me through my becoming and celebrated every milestone. With you, I found not just love, but acceptance, joy, and a partner for all of life's adventures. I promise to love you fiercely, laugh with you daily, and build a life so beautiful it exceeds our wildest dreams. By the power vested in me," the minister smiled warmly, "I now pronounce you wife and wife. You may kiss your bride." The kiss was met with thunderous applause. They walked back down the aisle, hand in hand, faces glowing with pure happiness. The reception was held in the church hall, transformed with lights and decorations into a winter wonderland. "I want to make a toast." Eileen stood, raising her champagne glass, wearing the same blue dress she'd worn dress shopping. "To my sister Dara, who taught me that courage isn't the absence of fear, but moving forward despite it. And to Jessie, who saw the amazing woman Dara is and never let her forget it. May your love continue to grow stronger with each passing day." More toasts followed, from parents, friends, chosen family. Marcus from work told the story of Dara coming out in the break room, how his initial surprise turned to admiration as he watched her bloom. Grace from the support group spoke about the power of living authentically and finding love that celebrates your true self. The first dance was to "At Last" by Etta James. Dara had changed into a reception dress, still white but shorter and more flowing for dancing. As they swayed together, Jessie whispered in her ear, "No regrets? How could I regret the best day of my life? I love you, Mrs. Thompson-Chen. I love you too, Mrs. Thompson-Chen." The celebration continued late into the night. Dara danced with her father, both of them crying happy tears. She laughed with Eileen and their mother, the three women spinning wildly to upbeat songs. She and Jessie were surrounded by love, their joy infectious. As midnight approached, marking Christmas Day, the newlyweds prepared to leave for their honeymoon. Dara had changed into a red dress for traveling, her brown hair loose around her shoulders. "Thank you all for being here," she addressed the remaining guests, "for supporting us, loving us, and celebrating with us. We are so blessed to have each of you in our lives." They ran through a shower of birdseed to their decorated car, "Just Married," written across the back window. As they drove away, Dara looked back at the church, glowing with warm light against the winter night. "Happy?" Jessie asked, reaching over to take her hand. "Beyond happy. I'm complete." They drove into their future together, two women who had found themselves and each other, ready for whatever adventures awaited. The girl who had once snuck into her sister's room to try on dresses was now a confident woman, married to the love of her life, surrounded by acceptance and joy. In the years that followed, Dara often reflected on her journey. From that scared young person sitting across from Eileen at the kitchen table to the woman she'd become, wife, daughter, sister, friend, and finally, fully herself. The path hadn't been easy, but every challenge had led her here to a life more beautiful than she'd ever dared imagine. And on quiet mornings, drinking coffee with Jessie in their sunny kitchen, Dara would sometimes touch her wedding ring and smile, grateful for the courage to become who she was always meant to be. Her brown hair would catch the light, and Jessie would look at her with such love that Dara knew without doubt that she was exactly where she belonged. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.